Hello, very good afternoon, yeah, everybody. I'm Dr. Tan from Lian Huan Seng Livestock. Okay, allow me to share the slide first. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, just would like to share with you guys. Okay, today the topics of my presentation is the domestic and international table eggs business perspective. Yeah. So based on the topics of the discussions, we look at the production and exports figures. So globally, and then in terms of countries, Malaysia, and then by state, Sarawak and Sabah. So we can see here the total table eggs production is increasing despite the COVID-19 pandemic. So there is forecast to increase to about 138 million tons in 2030. So that will be equivalent to 20% increase, and it's about 2% increase per year. So there's a huge number. Right? And then now we look at the production rate. Yeah. In 2020, the total production rate is about 160 million tons. So there's in 2020. And you can see from here, China is already represent half of the numbers. And this China, EU, US, and India, all in together is already represent 70% of the total table eggs production. So it's huge numbers from these four countries. And then now we look at the global table eggs exports, but yeah, actually in 1,000 tons. Then we can see there's a huge productions, but the actual export is only merely by 2% transborderly. So there is meaning to say that there's a lot of table eggs being consumed domestically. And you can see from here, Malaysia and China are quite on par in terms of exports. And when we combine China and Malaysia together, it will be about the values of the US. So from the graphic here, we can see. So US is actually the combinations of Malaysia and China in total exports. So, okay, now we look at exports relative to the global average exports price. We can see here, US catch up 70% more compared to the average value in terms of USD per tons. Whereas the Belarus is much lower, is minus 50% more compared to the average value. So meaning there is a disparity between the export prices across the globes. And I put it here, the average Malaysia egg farm price in terms of USD is already higher than the average global export price. So meaning to say there could be a little bit of like challenges here in terms of exports. So we look at the logistics costs, okay, because of the COVID pandemic, higher shipping costs across the globe, sparking trans-border price to increase substantially. And you can see from here, there is actually more than 35%. The producers, the cost from this is coming from the logistic cost itself. So it's actually a lot more. It's 1/3 coming from the logistics cost. Okay, we quickly go through this. Is actually the table eggs consumption per capita. So we can see from here in 2030, there were a lot of people eating more eggs. So this is actually something to do with the economy of the country. So why people eating more table eggs? So it's actually maybe it's the cheapest protein source compared to like other meat proteins. So we look at the Malaysian table eggs perspective. From here we can see that majority of the table eggs production in Malaysia is coming from Semenanjung or Peninsular Malaysia. So it's about 80 to 90%. Whereas Sabah and Sarawak is only 1/5 of the total production. So it's about 10 to 20%. So in terms of Borneo here, we still have a lot of rooms to grow. And here we look at the Malaysia table eggs cost per ton. We can see here, I put it here, 3 factors which influence the production cost. One is the raw material. So significantly, we can see corn and CPO is increased so much. It's more than 40% each. So, and then another one is soybean meal. That is about more than 50%. So all these 3 main ingredients for the feed ratio is already contributed more than 40%. So definitely there will be a lot of costs producers have to sustain in terms to produce 1 ton of table eggs. And of course, like what I said, logistics cost is already contributed more than 30%. So all added up together is actually a burden to the producer if the export price cannot be higher. Then of course, another one is the COVID-19 pandemic. So all the indirectly factors will bring up the cost of the table eggs also. Yeah? So in terms of Sarawak and Sabah table eggs perspectives, we can see from here, averagely self-sufficiency rate of Sarawak and Sabah is about 110%. So from here, I look a little bit of like forecast. This 110, it will be go up until 2025. So that will be the rate we are getting. And from here, I put it a figure about 10 to 20% of the table eggs produced, it can be exported based on the figures that I'm getting. So that will be equivalent to about, I think, 800 to 1,000 tons per month, you know, for exports. So this is actually our my Happy Eggs Lian Huan Seng Livestock. We have another business unit, which is the Happy Farm Fresh. It's a fresh mark. Yeah? So our new business units. I think with that I finish my presentation. Thank you.